We are just 38 days into a 6-month-long hurricane season, and I hope we are taking the necessary steps to safeguard lives and properties from what may develop. As Prime Minister Andrew Holness stresses, that includes heeding evacuation notices when they are given.
I know there are some persons who will say, if a storm were to come, I am not leaving my house. History has shown that those people who say that cause great problems for themselves and for the government, because they then become the source of massive mobilization to go and save them. It distracts funding and resources from other areas. So I would like to dissuade those persons who may have that thought in their head, that if a warning is issued or an evacuation notice is issued, please abide by it.
Coming up in the show, we talk digital currency, emphasize the need to be a peacemaker, and direct you to professional mediation to resolve conflicts. Hello and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson.
My name is Emil Leiber. I'm the president of the Jamaican Bar Association. We are grateful for all the investment which has taken place in our technological infrastructure. In order to fully appreciate the benefits of the technological improvements, I think one has to have an appreciation of how things were before. So if you're an attorney at law who was situated in, for example, Montego Bay, and you had a matter in the Supreme Court, it could be a chambers hearing, could have been for a few minutes. You would drive from Montego Bay, come to Kingston, sit in the judge's chambers for perhaps 15 minutes, half an hour, and then drive back to Montego Bay. So you will see there very readily that 4 hours of productive time easily, and that's assuming you drove enthusiastically, would have been lost, if not more, without the benefit of the technological improvements. So we now truly have a system of justice which is accessible to practitioners throughout Jamaica as well as the individual litigants.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 8, 2021. Construction work has started on a multi-purpose building to house a pediatric cardiac ward and overnight parent suite at the Bustamante Hospital for Children. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton broke ground for the facility on Wednesday. The two-story building will be constructed over the next 2 years at a cost of approximately $120 million. It's being developed by the National Housing Trust, NHT, in partnership with the National Health Fund, NHF, and the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA. The new building is part of the hospital's multi-million-dollar redevelopment master plan, which also entails expansion of ward space at the hospital to provide 100 additional beds.
The Bustamante Hospital for Children represents the only specialist children hospital in the English-speaking Caribbean and is providing diagnostic, preventative, curative, and rehabilitative offerings. And the intention is to expand these services here in this multi-million-dollar phased redevelopment plan.
The development and implementation of this new master plan continues to revitalize and improve an existing hospital infrastructure, which over time has been significantly upgraded.
As part of the redevelopment master plan, a newly established drug serve pharmacy was also officially opened on Wednesday. It was built by the NHF at a cost of approximately $70 million. In other health news, the ministry has received a grant of 10.2 million euros or 1.8 billion Jamaican dollars to support its health system strengthening program. The money is from the European Union Caribbean Investment Facility and will be administered by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the EU's contribution supplements the $50 million being provided for the program under a loan agreement with the IDB. He says it will assist in the prevention, care and management of non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, diabetes and obesity.
So the health system strengthening program tackles these needs full on, hence the appreciation for this contribution.
EU's head of delegation, Her Excellency Marianne van Steen, says non-communicable diseases should not be ignored, as they are often the cause of disability and ill health, exacerbated by social and economic cost.
We do expect that having access to these upgraded new facilities and adequately trained staff, thereby offering more efficient and higher quality care, will change the lives of many.
The Health System Strengthening Program was launched in January last year to facilitate the integration of health services networks and improve management, quality and efficiency. 3 hospitals and 10 other health facilities are to be developed as part of the program. Construction has officially started on the region's first state-of-the-art therapeutic center for children in state care. Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Favour Williams, broke ground for the facility on Tuesday on the grounds of the Maxfield Park Children's Home. The centre is being constructed through the partnership of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, and the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF. It will provide residential inpatient programs, including day treatment, outpatient counselling, and psychotherapy services for children in state care and their families.
This is an important development in the provision of psychosocial support for children in state care. We know that it is an unfortunate reality that many of our children who suffer physical and emotional abuse do not get the support needed to cope with the mental health issues. The therapeutic center to be built here is therefore a welcome addition to the provision of services to children in state care.
State Minister Robert Morgan says the aim of the ministry is to ultimately provide a center of excellence for children in state care.
I think this is probably the beginning of us unveiling a lot of the plans and programs that we're putting in place.
Specialist teachers will be incorporated at the primary level starting this September. Education Minister Favour Williams had announced government's plan to move from the generalist teaching model in primary schools to a specialist system during her sectoral debate presentation in April. She revealed then that the transition would begin in the country's worst performing schools as identified by the National Education Inspectorate. The minister gave an update on the plan at a function earlier this week.
Come September, we're switching to the specialist mode from the generalist mode. Right now, one teacher teaches all subjects, right, to the grade. We don't think that is going to get us there. So we want to see some specialist teachers, especially in mathematics, in English language, in our primary schools, and the science in our primary schools to kind of get the achievement levels up.
Minister Williams' update came as she welcomed the donation of computer devices from the private sector organization of Jamaica for the One Laptop or Tablet per Child initiative. The devices include 17 tablets and 7 laptops, which will benefit students of Mannings Hill Primary, Stony Hill Primary and Infant, Golden Spring Primary, and Lawrence Tavern Primary School. And finally, government will be implementing an electronic land titling system at the National Land Agency this year. Information Minister Favour Williams announced Cabinet's approval for the system during this week's post-Cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
The implementation of this program will result in the complete phasing out of physical certificates of title and their replacement with electronic certificates of title.
She says introducing the electronic land titling system will help to improve Jamaica's rank on the World Doing Business report under the Registering Property Index.
Currently, Jamaica is ranked 85 out of 190 countries, and the implementation of the electronic land registration would save time, reduce human resource requirements, and provide opportunities for further collaboration with Tax Administration Jamaica and other ministries, departments, and agencies with a view to reducing or eliminating connected transactional processes external to the NLA.
The Ministry of Finance and Public Service will accommodate the implementation of the project over a 6-year period as part of the Public Sector Investment Program. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Domestic violence and abuse has always been going on. Say to victims, report the matter, seek help, go to your local police. There are persons who are trained in the various divisions to deal with domestic violence and domestic abuse. We have 2 centers that are currently operational. One is at the Matilda's Corner Police Station. You can call the Matilda's Corner Police Station for that. The other one is at Air 5 Headquarters. That's on the same compound as Constant Spring Police Station. The number is 702-5120 or 702-5121. Co-workers, neighbors, family members, don't sit silently and say, oh, I knew they were having difficulties, but I didn't know the extent. No. Seek help on their behalf and tell your victim or your friend who is the victim, say to them, listen, I want to help you and I'm going to help you, but I have to seek help outside of me.
The Bank of Jamaica says work is being finalized to commence the pilot implementation of the proposed central bank digital currency. This timeline is set for August this year. To help you and even myself understand what is digital currency, we put a few questions to Mario Griffiths at the BOJ. Here are the answers.
Today we'll be talking about the introduction and use of a digital currency for Jamaica. But what is that and how will it work? We have with us Mr. Mario Griffiths, Director of the Payment System, Policy and Development Department at the Bank of Jamaica. He's here to tell us more about that and other things as well. Mr. Griffiths, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis, and thank you for having me.
Now, first things first, Mr. Griffiths, explain to us what exactly is digital currency and does it differ from the type of currency we're accustomed to using?
Well, I like to focus on one specific angle of digital currency, and that's a central bank digital currency, just to focus our conversation. Mm-hmm. Central bank digital currency, for short CBDC, is an advanced version of money. It's money in a digital form. So it's similar to banknotes and coins, so just call it money, I would call it that. And it will be issued by the Bank of Jamaica, and it's backed by the Bank of Jamaica, and it's also a liability of the Bank of Jamaica.
So being backed by the Bank of Jamaica, does that mean it's legal tender and we can spend it accordingly?
Yes, that's the intention, and we're working on ensuring that we amend the requisite legislation to ensure that central bank digital currency is legal tender.
So to be clear, we will be able to conduct all the functions of money with the central bank digital currency?
Yes, very clear. You know, it's similar. Let me just say CBDC is money.
Okay, it's money.
It's money. CBDC is a complement to cash. It's as cash-like as possible, so they will all coexist in the retail payments market. So you will definitely have central bank digital currency. You will also have banknotes, coins, debit card, credit cards, checks, online platforms, you name it.
All right, so there's still going to be cash, people. Now, I understand that before full-scale rollout of this central bank digital currency, there's going to be a pilot project. Now, talk to me about the objectives of the pilot project and what the public can expect. What will they see as this is rolled out and so on?
Okay, in terms of the pilot project, what we want to do is test the use of the central bank digital currency. We want to test a number of the use cases. So we want persons to conduct person-to-person payments, me paying to you or me paying to a vendor, a supermarket, you name whichever supermarket it is, or a restaurant of Jamaica. We want you to utilize central bank digital currency to make your payments. If you want to make payments for your taxes, we also want you to utilize central bank digital currency for that, or even online. Right, so that's where we're heading. And what we're doing in terms of the pilot, we want to test those use cases throughout the pilot. We want to test the ability to mint or create central bank digital currency, which will be shorter than the process for banknotes and coins, which takes approximately 9 months. So we want to create money. right, in less than 15 minutes. So we want to test that in our pilot internally to the Bank of Jamaica. We also want to distribute the central bank digital currency to your wallet providers, your bank, your authorized payment service provider, who will then distribute CBDC to us as users within the wider economy.
All right, sounds very interesting and also a little bit complicated, but I leave that to the technocrats such as yourself to make things simpler. Okay, so from what I understand, the central bank digital currency is expected to be a hybrid system incorporating wholesale, retail and cross-border transactions. Now, what exactly does that mean? Explain that for a layman such as myself.
Well, as we mentioned, the hybrid system is a combination of both wholesale and retail system. We're not really going cross-border right now. We want central bank digital currency to be utilized in Jamaica. Okay. But in terms of the hybrid system, it's just a model, right? You can go wholesale, you can utilize a wholesale model whereby the Bank of Jamaica only issues to a deposit-taking institution, a bank. You can also go direct retail, whereby the central bank will issue to the general public. But we have chosen a hybrid approach where we combine both the wholesale and the retail together, where we issue to your wallet provider, a bank or authorized payment service provider, who will then distribute to you or everybody in the economy to utilize. So that's the approach that we have taken.
Once again, I leave that to the better equipped persons to facilitate those kinds of transactions. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how it works itself out. Now, the central bank will issue digital currency to all persons, but commercial banks and other financial institutions will also transact business with customers. So does that mean that persons will need to have a digital account with the central bank as well as a digital account with their financial institution?
No. All persons need to do is have one account with their wallet provider. You don't need to have an account. Well, you won't be able to have an account with the Bank of Jamaica because we want to utilize the existing infrastructure that's in the market. We want to utilize what the banks and authorized payment service providers already have. So that's one of the reasons why we chose eCurrency as our vendor, because they can leverage the existing systems that's in our economy. And that's the risk of bringing in new technology is high, and we wanted to ensure that we leverage what exists in Jamaica to easily distribute central bank digital currency. So no, we only need one account, but if you already have a bank account, then certainly there will be seamless transition between your bank account into your CBDC wallet.
So to be clear though, will the digital account be different or separate from one's personal account, and how will holders be able to access and utilize the different functions of the digital currency in this manner?
Well, it is different from your bank account. It's as I said before, it's money. It's cash in your pocket, but just cash in a digital form. And in order to hold it in a digital form, you must have what we call a wallet, and that makes you a wallet holder. Now, the difference is it's not a bank account, because a bank account attracts interest, right? A bank account is a liability on a commercial bank. In the case of central bank digital currency, it is a liability of the central bank, and it's money in your pocket. Money in your pocket doesn't earn interest, right? Money in your wallet doesn't earn interest. Yeah. So we want to ensure that we replicate banknotes and coins or money as easily, as best as possible.
For more information on the central bank digital currency, you can visit their website, boj.org.jm. Until next time, when Get the Facts brings you, as always, more important information, I'm Vaughn Davis. Thank you for watching, and do take care.
Being a justice of the peace is a voluntary act and requires commitment to upholding the law. Let's find out what it takes to become one of these peacekeepers.
When you offer your service across Jamaica, it is absolutely important for you to be fair-minded. Ensure that fair play at all times is displayed, a person dispensing justice, ensuring that peace is maintained across Jamaica. To assist in solving the many problems that we are encountering in Jamaica.
We see them all over the country. We know their names. We employ their services for signing important documents, among other things. But do we know the extent of their functions, or how one even becomes a justice of the peace? Come, Watch as we open the gates to the historical peacekeepers of our nation.
I'm appointed through the Ministry of Justice, and as a JP, you have to be very, very confidential. So people can come to you and they can confide in you with whatever, and you can be that person that they can talk to. You have to be a person of integrity, a person who is an unquestionable background.
You're joining a vocation that has been in existence and started from the 12th century. From 1195, the king, known as King the Lion-Hearted, said to the knights, we need distinguished persons to operate in boroughs, communities, right across England. So find some persons who can keep the peace. Some from 1195, over 800 years ago. Persons who were appointed were known as keepers of the peace. It was only in the 14th century that the term justice of the peace became the JP that you are now.
Ministry of Justice call us peacekeeper, and people do call us peacekeeper because we do keep the peace. Some of our duties that I perform, I witness documents for people, I do recommendations for some of the youths who want a job. I also do recommendations for persons who want to be surety to bail another person. So there are multiple things that I do as a justice of the peace.
The role of a JP is a voluntary one. So these officers are not to accept cash or any form of reward for the work done in their capacity as JPs.
It's something that you will do out of your heart. You have to do it as a person. You have to do it as a Jamaican. You have to love your country. And I believe that we have to stop asking the question what our country can do for us and to want to help to change our country, to change the justice system.
From there, the steps to become a justice of the peace are fairly simple. You must be a Jamaican citizen residing in the country during the time of appointment. You must be able to read and speak English fluently. You must be able to communicate and interact at all levels with all types of people. You must be a person of undeniable integrity who commands the respect of the local community. And you must be a person who has offered voluntary service to the community and the country by extension, while indicating the potential for continued service. But always remember, as a JP, you're offering a very valuable service to your country.
It's a fulfilling job, but it's also a tiring one. So I want to say to fellow justice of the peace out there, please, do it for the love. As what they say, do it for the love, not for the likes. You understand me? Make sure you're doing your job correctly. You signed up for a position to help people, help people.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, join us in helping to make Jamaica a safer place for all. Log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Conflict between individuals do arise from time to time, but when left unresolved, can cause more harm than the initial issue, whether at the community level or within the workplace. Thankfully, there is the Dispute Resolution Foundation that offers professional mediation that will result in a peaceful outcome.
Is unhealthy for productivity in the workplace. You guys can't continue like this. And she come in the morning and I'm trying to show her, she just act like idiot. Alright, so here what? I have a video from the Dispute Resolution Foundation that I think you guys need to watch. Come with me.
conflict is at its most fundamental a disagreement. Workplace conflict has a number of significant impacts. There's a cost to conflict at the workplace. So someone seeing a dispute between two employees or between employees and the employer being played out in public might be inconvenienced by what is happening, but they're unaware of what's the cost. There are all kinds of costs, from personal costs, health costs, reputational costs, to financial costs. So conflict can impact somebody at the workplace. It can impact the production and productivity of the business. If you think of it, any workplace could find that between a supervisor or just between two employees, there could be an unresolved conflict and it affects how they work. So if we have to work in a way that says your work is affecting mine and vice versa, and we're not getting along, then over time what will happen is that we tend not to be very productive because we're not communicating with each other, we're not responding, we're not engaged. So it affects the organization's relationship internally, it affects the dynamics of that, it affects productivity, it affects communication, it affects a number of things. So simple things like management decisions may be impacted by conflict at the workplace.
Mediation is very, very important in order to solve conflicts like these and to ensure that we have productivity.
Conflict resolution is a very broad term used to describe different approaches to try and manage conflict when conflict occurs. So mediation is just one of those processes, a very structured process in which a neutral third party who is trained helps disputing parties to come to a resolution of their dispute. Now, at the workplace, that will be helping them to negotiate. So they may be unable to negotiate by themselves, so they may get somebody who is external to each of them to help them to resolve that dispute, and that person will play the role of a mediator.
So guys, this is where I come in, to sit with you both and to discuss the issue further. But before we get to the meat of the matter, there is just one more point to note.
Now, in order to do that, the mediator has to have some very effective communication skills. So how does the mediator communicate? And communicate in a way that includes both verbal and non-verbal, but at the same time interpreting what is it that the verbal and non-verbal cues that are coming from the parties. What are those cues saying? So the mediator has to be very effective at communication. Now, helping the parties to communicate may be a part of the communication, the larger communication skills of the mediator. However, at a particular point in time, mediator has to help the parties to negotiate. So the mediator has to be au fait with what negotiation is about, how are the parties negotiating, and help them to be able to negotiate in a way that settles the dispute that they have.
Alright, so as you guys can see, conflict, it's nothing new. Today was probably the first for you guys, and it maybe won't be the last. But based on the video that you've just seen, you can now tell the true effect of what conflict can do within the organization. So you see, it's very important for you to practice mediation and proper conflict resolutions. Now, having seen or heard all of that, what really happened today?
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website jis.gov.jm, and while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.